Greetings, friends. It's Pat at Dancing Moon Travel with another episode of Let's Talk Travel. And also, folks, before I forget, if you are joining us for an instant replay, you couldn't make the live broadcast, we are delighted that you're out there as well. Thank you for joining us. And this evening, we are going to be talking with a cruise brand that really needs no introduction at all. Not that that's what's going to stop me, but and by the way, don't go away either, because you don't want to miss our giveaway this evening. That's for live audiences only. So if you aren't part of the live audience, I'm sorry. But with all that said, let's bring on Elizabeth Quinn, Senior Director of Key Accounts for Norwegian Cruise Lines. Welcome, Liz.
Thank you. Hi, great to be here.
Getting a lot of feedback here, but I am so glad that you were able to join us. It's been a long time making this happen, and so appreciate your taking the time to join us on Let's Talk Travel this evening. Would you start for us by just sharing a little bit of your background in the travel industry and maybe how you made your way to Norwegian Cruise Lines and what you love about being there?
Well, sure. I actually kind of hate to admit how long I've been in the industry. It's 30 plus years or so. In travel, I actually started as I own my own agency, travel agency. I ended up from there, I worked for a tour operator and wound up kind of finding my way home here at Norwegian. I will have been with Norwegian in November 13 years.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's been a long time. I've handled a variety of accounts. I've been the sole salesperson for the Haven by Norwegian, which, for those that don't know, that's our luxury suites complex at the top of the ship.
It is magnificent, folks. If you like to travel well, the ship within a ship, you have your small ship. Oh, it's amazing. What an experience.
Yeah, no, it's beautiful. So I've been with them for a long time, and I absolutely love Freestyle Cruising and the entire sort of team that we have here. It's a great team that thinks outside of the box, and we create new things, and we try different things like Freestyle Cruising that had never been done before. So we're just willing to try things.
Norwegian is known as a big innovator in the cruise line industry. Many of the things that happen that you see now on the competition actually started out with Norwegian. Exactly.
We launched Freestyle Cruising, and now, flattery is that everybody else is doing it.
Yeah. Tell our listeners just a little bit what they may not know if they haven't cruised with you guys.
Sure.
What is freestyle?
So Freestyle Cruising it's the ultimate in freedom and flexibility. It's almost more like you're sailing with you're downtown at a city, so you can dine wherever you want, whenever you want, with whomever you want. So we've shed the traditional cruise line of past, where you had an assigned seating a certain time with certain people that you may not even know. So we've made it very country club casual, resort casual. You can dine when you want to. There's no set time, so you really are free to enjoy the ship, any of the ships, whenever you want.
And there's no set. No real formal night that you have to bring along your tuxedo, guys. Of course, you're free to, again, if you want to.
Yes, of course. We're also well known for our entertainment. I mean, we really were some of the first to bring true Broadway shows, and not just knockoffs of Broadway shows, real Broadway shows onto the ships. So that's something that's totally different for us.
And you, Liz, I believe, were the first to introduce this kind of color palette to the holes of the ships.
Yes, exactly. We are it's a nice way to find your ship when you're important. There's a bunch of different ships there as well. You don't want to come back to just the straight white ship. So we actually use them as a color palette. And we commission artists from various places around the world to use the hull as their art, as their canvas.
This happens to be the Encore. Looks like probably in New York, I'm guessing there, but just
yeah, it could be New York or even Seattle.
Yeah,
of course she's up there now. Yeah, she's out there now. That's her. We brought her back when she was the first ship to sail in the U.S. after COVID, and so she's sailing out of Seattle doing Alaska.
Cool. I love Alaska, and you guys really do Alaska so well. We book a lot of Norwegian for our Alaska travelers.
Well, thank you very much. We appreciate that.
So good. What are some of the, you guys are literally around the globe. Your ships, if there's water, you're pretty much going there.
Absolutely.
What are some of the hallmarks that you would say of the Norwegian brand? What sets you apart from the other contemporary cruise lines?
Well, one itinerary in particular that we really are the only one that does is we home port out of Honolulu, Hawaii, year round, doing 7-night cruises. So we hit the 4 major islands, and it's 7 days, but we're in port over 100 hours. So you really get full immersion into those 4 island destinations and get a chance to really immerse yourself. We're in almost all, we go early in the morning and we stay late into the evening. We do an overnight in Maui and an overnight in Kauai. So you get 2 full days there. And that's something that's unheard of. Our competitors sail from California over. And so because we only sail between the Hawaiian Islands, it's a little bit different. That ship is actually one of the few U.S. flagged ships of all of the major cruise line brands. So we can sail just within U.S. waters and never have to touch an international port.
That is really unique. And I explained to our travelers that if they choose that cruise option, they really are going to spend as much or more time than people who choose to do the land-based and schlepping their luggage from airport to hotel and checking in and out. Because by the time you do all of that, I mean, why not get aboard the ship and unpack and see the islands and spend your time actually experiencing the destination rather than packing up and yeah.
It's like a floating hotel, and it just takes you from place to place in your home, but you can go off and explore and spend a lot of time on the islands.
Yeah. What are some of the other destinations that might be your favorites?
Boy, people ask me that a lot, and I love Europe. So I love our Med cruise out of Barcelona. I also love the city of Barcelona. So a pre or a post there is awesome. My next year's bucket list trip is Greece, so out of Athens. And that's kind of a new itinerary that sprung up kind of out of COVID, really. When we were trying to bring the spirit back out of Asia, that was where we were going to move her when COVID first started. So we created a whole new itinerary there that no other cruise lines, none of the major cruise lines really did. Home porting out of Athens and hitting all of the Greek Isles.
That was actually one of the first European countries that where ships
opened back up.
Yeah.
So that's probably on my list for next summer. Although, now with Prima coming out, there's some really cool itineraries. I don't know. I'm a little torn. Northern Europe, Iceland. We've got some unique itineraries that we're starting there for next year.
Okay. Iceland.
Yeah.
Interesting. That's a very, very popular destination these days.
It is. We're actually doing Prima's christening in Reykjavik.
Wow.
So that's huge.
That's a different destination for sure.
I know.
Something like that. So you guys, here again, you're on the cutting edge.
Yes.
So Liz, what of our listeners here maybe haven't sailed with Norwegian before? Curious, how could they identify themselves as good prospects to sail with you guys?
Well, I think we're known as a family brand. So we do accept kids. Obviously, once we get through COVID and the children can be vaccinated. But so family brand, absolutely. But because, as I was talking about, that haven section of our ship that I'm totally passionate about, it's an upscale experience. It's a suites complex. It's all private key card access only, private restaurant, private bar, private pool and sun deck area. So if you want to have that really elevated experience, but be able to have all the bells and whistles that come with those big ships, whether it's, you know, the go-kart racetrack, the walk the plank, if you want the big shows like Jersey Boys, and we just announced Donna Summer will be the Broadway show of Donna Summer's life will be on Prima next year. So if you want to have all the bells and whistles that come with a big ship, but you're a little bit afraid because it's a big ship that it might be too busy, the Haven is a great option. Multi-generational. So, you know, where you have the generations, we can take care of the kids. That 30 to 50 range has a great option for entertainment, for various dining options. If you have gamblers, we have a very good casino program. But then you mentioned, yes, we are known as one of the best payers at sea as well. But then the Haven, if you know, you just want a little bit more of a quiet experience, you can have that as well. So it's hard to say, but I would say, like, my age group, mid-50s, I don't have kids. I would love it, as I like all of the activity, but I'd love to tuck away up into the Haven where I can kind of get away and have some quiet time as well. And
Liz, I would just throw in there that all of my clients who have done the Haven experience, they just come back. They feel like they've been totally spoiled. They absolutely rave. I've never heard one word of criticism or complaint or issues at all. Everybody just comes back, wow, that was awesome.
Yeah, and the ship sells from the top down, really. So those go first because it is a small number when you're talking, you know, 4,000 passengers or 3,000 potentially. It's only a couple of hundred suites. So it's a very limited number of people. They get totally spoiled. Everything is, you know, they get private access to board first. They can disembark first. They get priority access to reservations for dining, for entertainment, you name it. They really, and it's something that sets us apart from our competitors as well, because while all of the cruise brands do a beautiful job, you know, quite frankly, we all do a great job. And we all have big, beautiful suites. But ours is the only complex that's truly secluded away and key card access only. So you don't come out of your big, beautiful suite and there's an inside cabin straight across the hall. You're really just surrounded with other suite guests. And that's a huge thing that I think sets us apart.
It's a great option for luxury lovers who also want to have all. They have their cake and they eat it too, because they have that small ship experience, but still they're on one of the largest ships, the mega ships sailing at sea. So it really is, you can have it all with that.
Exactly.
You guys also have a little secret weapon, I think, when you talk about your private island, Great Stirrup Cay. Now, Liz, I know that all of the cruise lines keep trying to up the ante with their own island upgrades, but what sets your island apart from some of the others?
Well, aside from being the very first cruise line to have our own private island back in the 70s, I believe it was, so that's kind of a fun backstory. We were the very first cruise line to have our own private island, so that was pretty cool.
Again, you started the whole thing.
There's a lot of things we've started. You know, we've learned we've taken some bumps and bruises as we've figured it out, but, you know, and now look at everybody following us. Isn't that fun? But I would say our private island is, it's a little different than some of our competitors. It's, you know, it's not Disneyland on an island. It's truly an island experience. We get some of the best guest satisfaction scores from Great Stirrup Cay because it is one that it tends to blend more with nature. Like, it's not something that you just looks like a spaceship dropped out of the sky. You know, it blends in with the natural geography and topography of the island. It's got a very upscale section, Silver Cove, where there's private villas. that you can rent for the day. They're air conditioned. They come with great beverage and food service. There's a Moet champagne bar over there. There's private restaurant. There's the Mandara Spa. So there's a lovely upscale section of it as well. It would definitely appeal to our Haven guests or for people just looking for a little quiet. But there's a lot of activities you can launch from there as well. We totally try to respect the ocean and the surrounding reefs. So there's snorkeling. You can go off and do kayaking. We have some wave runners. You can actually take a trip over. It's about 10 minutes, and you can swim with the pigs.
Oh, I want to do that. That is an excursion that I really, really want to do. I must say that I don't know, something about it that I'm like, I love being in the water and just, I mean, I had some clients that did it, and it really they had a ball. So I want to do that. And yes, I know I'm no teenager, but still, that
you can do it. Absolutely, no problem at all. You could do the zip line too if you wanted, that we have there as well. That goes across.
Not so much on that one.
Yeah. I'm not so sure I am either, but it sounds like fun. But it's a much more laid back, relaxing day. Lovely, restaurants and bars scattered throughout the island.
So it's kind of like really being in the Caribbean and not being at some, I
amusement park.
I like that concept. It's great. Let's talk about the big old elephant in the room, the COVID crisis that has
absolutely
it's wreaked havoc with travel in general, and it really impacted the cruise line industry. What are some of the protocols that you guys have in place to keep passengers and crew safe in these challenging times?
Well, I would say our number one protocol that we absolutely have to talk to is we require 100% vaccination required. All guests, all crew, all shoreside employees as well. Our entire company firmly believes that vaccination is the path to get us out of this, to keep the ships sailing, keep our crew safe, and the places that we visit, the islands, the ports, the towns. We feel that it's, as good corporate and global citizens, we really need to keep everybody safe. So with that said, it does put us at a little bit of a disadvantage because children can't be vaccinated yet. What is it, 15 and under, I think, can't be. But so
this week we're
hoping.
Yeah, so hopefully, things are going. I think generally, don't you get the feel that overall we're moving in a generally positive direction?
Yeah, personally, I do. I absolutely do. And the CDC, I think, just came out today, and they extended the conditional sail order. But we were already going above and beyond the protocols that they had suggested. Thanks to our Safe Sail panel that we and Royal Caribbean got together and hired all of these experts in disease and safety, so that they gave us a list of, I think it was 27 different items to be sure that we could help keep people safe, whether it's from the HEPA filters that we do throughout, the air filtration system throughout the ship. We have upgraded the onboard medical facilities. So we have oxygen, we have a variety of different medications we can keep up with. We have a partnership with, I think it's Baptist Health. So we can call in from the ships and go through any kind of concerns that we may have, and they will have an entire group of experts there to help guide us should anything come up. Luckily, nothing has come up. We've been very fortunate. I mean, even our president says, though, it's ridiculous to think that you will not have a case somewhere. It's just impossible. You're going to have it if you go to a hotel. You're going to have it. People traveling through an airport, they move too quickly for you to actually be able to pinpoint where that came from. Whereas with us, you're on a ship for 7 days. It's a little bit easier. But
and you guys have that reporting requirement that nobody else in the travel industry has. Exactly. There can be things happen at a resort, on an aircraft, all kinds, but you guys, if somebody's treated for a hangnail, you've got to report that.
We do. We do. We are the only industry that has to report on any sort of GI issues. So we've always had to report on that. So having to report on COVID was nothing new for us. We were expecting that. And we've always been sort of made a scapegoat in the industry, in the travel industry as a whole. I mean, a convention center, I mean, think about how many people pass through that. And you can't really, now I guess with contact tracing, it's gotten better. But, you know, we never had that before. We've always had it on the board.
Nobody else is doing contact tracing the way the cruise line industry, and you keep enhancing that, and it's getting smarter and smarter all of the time.
Oh, absolutely.
And Liz, it's very clear to me that there are no, I mean, yes, you hear about a reported isolated case.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
There's no incidents, no outbreaks happening, because we know if it was, the news media would be having a field day with it. We just know that. So it's not happening.
No, you know, you hear in the industry a couple of cases here, a couple there with no symptoms whatsoever, but they're isolated. We have isolation sections of the ship now. You know, the sanitation protocols have stepped up and everything. We've always been kind of over the top with our sanitation anyway. All of the cruise lines have, but you know, we have that running joke, if you've sailed with us, washy. Like,
that's right.
You know, anytime you enter any of the restaurants, the buffet areas, we're really pushing people to wash your hands, to use the sanitizer before you go in. So we've always been ahead of that, I think, anyway, but COVID has really made us step up our game.
Yeah, you know, my husband's very first cruise, he had never been on a cruise until we got married. I had only been on one, but I loved it. And so one of my first agendas was to get him to take a cruise. And he'd always been a little bit nervous because he's not a water person at all. And he didn't know how he was going to feel about getting out where he couldn't see land. So he'd been hesitant. So I just decided we're going to do this. And so I booked him on an 11-day Southern Caribbean cruise out of Florida. And so we were on that ship for 11 days. We were on the Norwegian Dawn. I remember that specific. And we sailed. By the second day on board that ship, he wanted to live there. I'm telling you. And he's been that way ever since. He loves cruising. He absolutely loves it. So it's great.
Thank you.
Now let's touch on, you've got a new ship. You've hinted about this a little bit. Tell us more. I wish I had a video to play, folks. I was trying to get it done and I just couldn't get it uploaded. But Liz, tell us about the Prima.
Absolutely. Norwegian Prima is a brand new class of ships for us. So we haven't had a new class in several years. The design is going to be a little bit smaller than like Norwegian Encore, the final ship, our last newest ship, was just around 4,000. So Prima is going to be a little bit smaller. So the nice part about that, around 3,000-ish, is that we'll be able to get into some different ports. So some smaller ports where those big mammoth ships can't get in. The Haven is taken to a whole new level. So of course I have to talk about the Haven. The Haven has actually been moved to the rear of the ship. And so instead of the courtyard area that used to be a pool surrounded all the way around by the suites, now the courtyard area is looking out. So there's a pool aft of the ship, and you're actually just looking at the wake of the ship. It's going to be beautiful. We have the waterfront on several of our other ships where you can walk around, and we have indoor-outdoor dining and bars, and you really connect with the water and the ocean, which is really what we think why people actually cruise. They want to be near the ocean, but you know, those bigger ships, the bigger they got, you had to go to the top to get out, other than on your balcony. But there wasn't anything like the old traditional promenade. So with Norwegian Breakaway, we started that, the waterfront. Well, this Prima is taking it to the whole new level. So in Deck 8, we'll be able to go all the way around the ship.
Oh, that's good.
It's beautiful, much wider area. So we'll have infinity pools right on the side of the ships.
Oh, my word.
Yeah, there'll be the ocean walk where it's a glass walkway where it feels like you're walking on top of the ocean. And then at the back of the ship, there's another whole open section. We'll have restaurants. We'll have the first food hall at sea. So there'll be, I think it's 12 different little restaurants within one big restaurant. Well, you'll be able to get a variety of things. Starbucks will be back there. There'll be a tapas bar.
Wait, you said tapas, not topless.
Tapas, Spanish tapas. Yeah, food. So it's just going to be taking the brand really to the next level. It's it's designed based on space. So we're trying to give more space ratio, even though it's a larger ship. So it's still a big ship, but it's fewer passengers and upping the service game. So I think with the timing, everything, again, coming back to the cutting edge, coming out of COVID, everybody wants a little more space. You want a smaller environment. And just a little bit more upscale. So I'm so excited. I can't wait to see her.
Well,
and then the entertainment is going to be amazing too. So,
boy, this is I can't wait to have an opportunity to inspect this one. This is just
please really next summer.
My interest. So I'll be watching and looking forward to that. So just I've always got to be mindful of the clock. Do you have any special promotions currently available? Tell us about your model with the
Free at Sea.
Free at Sea, yeah.
Free at Sea. So several years ago, we started adding more items to the price of the cruise. So we have always had specialty restaurants, and then we had the included restaurants. So people always want to try new things. So we've added in a few nights of specialty dining. We've added in a beverage package. So, you can have unlimited wine, beer, cocktails, what have you. And it's not like call brands. It's not really nice brands of wine. So the whole thing is, it's all included now, Wi-Fi, and then it's part of the package. Yeah. So right now, it's also, we get all of the options of the Free at Sea package. So Wi-Fi, shore excursions.
Shore excursion credit, yeah.
$50 credit per port. So you get the beverage, the dining, the Wi-Fi, the shore ex. We're running right now, second passenger flies free if you buy our air from select gateways, and it's pretty reasonable. And when second person is free, it's really reasonable. And then right now we're running 60% off second guest. So it's really a great value. I think we're up to like $4,000 right now with the air savings.
That is outstanding. Outstanding. Yeah. So folks, if you like that, and by the way, our clients love the stuff when you can get everything included. I mean, that is a big selling proposition that I see our clients love when they can get all of that. And as if all of that wasn't enough as far as promotions go, folks, I am going to throw in, if you book with us by, let's see, I'm going to say through the entire month of November, if you book Norwegian Cruise Lines, any 7-day sailing or more through Dancing Moon Travel, we are going to throw in a $50 per stateroom onboard credit and our special Dancing Moon Travel tote bag as well. So book now, book often. and
Norwegian.
Take advantage of this great opportunity if you book Norwegian. And finally, folks, if you are watching live, just live now, I want you to just enter the word Norwegian in the comment section now, and we will be giving away a $25 gift card, an Amex gift card for some lucky listener who caught us live this evening. And stick with us, folks, because next week we'll be back to our topic that we're featuring real clients, real travel experiences. We'll be back to finishing up those interviews. So don't miss us next week. Liz, thank you so much for joining us. So appreciate this. It's taken us a long time to finally get you online with us, but we are so grateful that you took the time. And Norwegian is such a fabulous partner. We always book with confidence when we book Norwegian.
No, thank you for having me. We really appreciate it.
Thanks again. Bye, folks, and we'll catch you next week.